Hi, I'm Laurie, and I just want to take a few minutes. You can teach yourself a lot. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm sorry I don't have video, but trust me, you do not want to see me today. All right, here we go. There. You should be able to see my screen. I'll get the Zoom stuff out of the way, and I'm going to, let's see, open this one first. These are some covers that I've either been working on or have made. I didn't go find some of the older ones. I might turn the video on and hide and show you an actual book later, but this is a children's book. It's called The Mice of Tempo. As I said, I had no money as a music teacher, but I loved to write, and so I wrote a bunch of, I typed a bunch of books and did my own illustrations, which were not all that great, and bound them with that little plastic binder the library had, and I would read them aloud in class. And this is just a rhythm book about all the different types of tempo, and all the little mice have a different name, like Allegro and Largo, blah, blah, blah. This is a book I'm working on now, and excuse this Laurie thing. I'm still working on the cover, and I can't find that PowerPoint to fix it right now, but this is a Bible study slash, I guess, Christian living book about what happens after you've blown it and have repented, and how can God continue to use you. So those are just two examples. This is for a book I didn't write, somebody else that I was helping with book covers. This is a sci-fi fantasy about kind of the post-zombie apocalypse kind of thing that's really popular right now. This is a historical romance that I'm having edited at this point. I really want to try to get it traditionally published, but we'll see. But I still like to make covers, even if I want them traditionally published, just because it's fun. This is the cover for the book that's in pre-order right now and set to release for real June the 1st. These are some of my early efforts, and obviously they were not all that great. For example, you cannot even see her face. Did you even know these were prison bars? It just looks like a bunch of mess. This is neat, because one of the main characters has kind of got, double identity. But again, can you even see the prison bars? And this is not a good font. But anyway, I've kind of learned and read a lot. So here's what I do when I start out. Well, the first thing I do, let me not even worry about it. The first thing I do is I try to find a ton of images. And when I look for images, I do several things. Now, you can use Canva for your book covers, and we'll talk about that. But the reason that I use PowerPoint first is mainly because I'm an instructional designer, and storyboards using Word got on my nerves because I could not organize it the way I wanted to organize it. And so my storyboard would be PowerPoint. I'd have the bullet points, I'd have little notes, and then any images or MP4s that I was going to use in that slide, because it's training and course videos, I would actually go ahead and drop in there. And then when I used my real authoring tool, it was just all in one place. So that's what I do for books. There are several ways that you can search for images. Creative Commons search, which is search.creativecommons.org, and this back here. But if you just type in Creative Commons image search, this will be one of the first results. You can use Creative Commons. They don't necessarily have images on a lot of themes. Let's say we want to just do love. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get, okay? This seems to be very baby-oriented. There may not be a lot of good images. Of course, you can load more results. You can go all the way down the rabbit hole. I do that. I plan to spend a couple of days just looking for images because I want the one that jumps out at me. So we're not going to do load. Let's do dogs. Okay, you can always find dogs. Okay. Oh, here we go. See, these are some cute ones. And I was going to start from scratch, but you don't want to go with me on my image search. I understand that. Here's what I suggest. CCO, it means that it doesn't really have any kind of license that anyone knows of. And these are things that are, you know, let's say if you're writing something historical, there'll be a map or, you know, an old photograph that someone has scanned that, you know, is just too old to have any kind of a real copyright. Public domain, that means it's in the public domain. You're free to use it. And CC BY. CC BY means it's Creative Commons licensed, and all you have to do is make sure that you attribute the image creator. In other words, if John Johnson on Flickr created the image, then you need to attribute that, usually in the copyright page. Cover image from blah, 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 blah. I would skip the rest of these. I won't go into what they mean, except that ND means no derivatives, which means you cannot change the image in any way, and putting words on top of it is iffy. NC means non-commercial, so in case you can document that every cent you make from that book is going to, you know, feed the children or something, I just wouldn't go down that road. These are the three I would pick. So that knocks down some of the pictures a lot. Now that would be a cute little, let's do that. That'd be a cute little dog picture. And what I do, here's what I do. That thing always gets in the way. This is my Google Drive. I do not use any kind of organizational book writing software because, again, I'm cheap. So I use this in much the way some people use Dabble. Possible whale images. When I find an image I like, I download it, I copy, if it lets you copy, or I take down all of the attribution information, the title, who created it, what license it is, and if I have the site that came from, which is what these links are. And then I put a thumbnail. I do that because, you know, I don't know what to associate with this text if I don't have the thumbnail. So that's what I did with these whale images. And I put it all in a Google document, and that way I know how to attribute whatever I choose to use. It's just very easy to do it that way. So we're going to take doggy here, and I'll copy this. And if I were going to actually use it for a book, I'd copy this, and then I'd paste it into whatever image document. And you can go to the image website. For now, that's what I would, if you want the full resolution image, I would do that, but we don't care about that right now. So we're just going to save him, and we're just going to call him Doggy Black and White. All right. You can also go to this unsplash.com is a great place, and I have looked through their terms, and I have had some friends of mine who know more about copyright than me look through their terms. They are freely usable images. You don't even have to attribute, but I would, because it's just nice. I got my cover image from Unsplash for my current book. See, they've got all kinds, their images are professional. So you're going to find, oh, I love him. You're going to find something. I would download the biggest one you can. This one, for example, that one would not be a good choice because it's not quite as big as a book cover. Book cover is 1600 by 2400 minimum for most places, and this is not quite as big, so it may ding you on resolution, which is really annoying. This is great because it pops up and you can copy that right to that document. Okay, so I downloaded him. He's called Celine, whatever. I'm going to keep that open because I won't remember. The last place I would look for images would be Google. If you're going to look for Google images, you got to be careful. Go to images. Now, once you've got the images pulled up, go to Tools, to Usage Rights, and click Creative Commons Licenses. That means they're probably, now don't go to the ads because those are to pay for. They're probably Creative Commons licensed. For example, Pixabay is just like Unsplash. So you're safe with Pixabay. You're usually safe with Flickr. And Wikimedia Commons. But some of these, like 123 RF, if you go to there, see it says licensable. If you go there, you're going to have to pay. And sometimes they don't attribute it right. So just do Google image search at your own peril if you don't really research and make sure that it's okay to use for commercial. Now I've got my images, so I'm going to go to PowerPoint. And I'm going to change the layout to blank because I don't need all that stuff. Now, you may not know this. If you do, I apologize. But if you don't know this, you can go over to slide size and go to page setup. You can type 6 for the width and 9. If that's your, I do 6 by 9 most of the time. And now, it doesn't matter if you scale it because it's blank. Now you've got the book cover size. And if you're one of those that does the front and the back all in one thing, I think that's 9 by 13. I don't know. It depends on the spine. So, you know, that's hard to calculate. But let's say then you could do the same thing. You would just have to create little boxes to guide you. But I just do the front and then I do the back separate because it's easier for me. And then the spine is usually just solid with your name and the title. So who cares? All right, so let's take this. First thing I want to do is I'm going to take this image. I'm going to do the Celine image because I thought it was cuter. All righty, where's that cute puppy? There's that cute puppy. All right, now he's a little bit big, but he's not, I mean, he's not quite the same dimensions. So I'm going to move up just a tad, and I'm going to fix him. Now, what I would do after you do that is go ahead and crop this image because heaven forbid that we get all the way through here and then you've got your, all right, there. You can barely see it, but you can sort of see where that background stops and then crop. Now he's not bigger than the background. Okay, you can do all kinds of things with him. Take him over here. And there's a transparency option. If you don't have a transparency option, then you can just right click on the picture, right click, and then down here it says format picture. And here's, let's see, if you go over to the far right, picture transparency, and you can make it transparent. And if you wanted, let's say you wanted this to be a darker cover, see, it just gets lighter and lighter, or a more pink cover or a more something cover, all you have to do is go over here to format background. Make a solid fill, and I'm going to, let me do him, I'll just do a really, really dark gray, okay? And I'll go back over to the picture, and you see now as I'm making it more transparent, it gets darker because the dark background is showing up. Okay, if I wanted to, let's see, if I wanted to make it a little less warm, there's a blue background which you can't see right now, but we'll go over to transparency, and as I make it transparent, it just gets a little, I kind of like that, a little paler, but it's not. It's a different kind of pale than just white background. You still got some, gives it kind of a bluish grayish hue. So let's say we want to do that. Now you start working with titles. This is like PowerPoint. I'm going to insert a text box. And I'm going to show you something that you can do with PowerPoint that you cannot do with Canva. At least if you can, they've hidden it really well. We're going to call this My Best Friend. I know that's lame, but you know. Center it. First I need to, it's just best to go all the way out because if not, I don't know if it's really centered. All right. So now it's centered, and now you can start, I try to make it kind of big. Let's see, let's make it 60. All right, that's pretty big. Now that's obviously not a very good font. So we're going to find here a good font. Now if this is, you can play with these. And then I'm going to make this one even bigger. I really like it when and this one may be a little smaller. You can double click up there and choose things. Let's see, My Best And let's see, we'll make this bold. Okay, my best friend. That's not a great font, but you get my point. Now this is something that you can do if you highlight this text, and it says Format Text Effects, and this is so cool. If you go here to this first one and do Gradient Fill, you see how you can choose different things. Now that would not be a great color for this book. So let's see if we can play on that pink. This is going to be really obnoxious, but okay, so we got that, and there are all sorts of ways you can, let's see, I used that. We'll use that. Okay. And then we'll use, this is going to be so ugly, but at least you'll get an idea. Oh, bless it. All right. And then this last one, we might as well just, if you're gonna go tacky, go big. Okay. All right. Now, that's obviously terrible. We need to make him more transparent. I'll make him more transparent. Okay, that's obviously a very bad color, but you can see, I'll move it over here, that gradiated. Another good thing to do that can help sometimes is to take this text and be sure you're doing text options and go over here and make a shadow. And shadow you won't necessarily see. You see a little there. You see just that little shadow makes it pop more. I always shadow at least the main word in my title so that it's easier to see. Like I said, that's a horrible color combo. I would never make that a cover, but you see what I'm doing. Let's look at something else here. Presentation 5, let's see. Let's look at Where Magnolias Lie. This is a little bit different. I just made a solid background. I bought a book that was solid and that just had little details. This is a Creative Commons. This is actually, if you look, this is actually, these are cool. This is a little grid. Let me do, I'm not gonna, oh, that's not the one. This is actually a little grid of flowers. I'll move it over. And what I did was just cropped until I got what I wanted out of it. And I have some of these behind and some of these in front of, so it's little detail-y things on the letters. And then I have a little detail up here and a little detail down here. And when you look at it, then that's what you see. That's the cover. And I just liked that. I thought that was kind of snazzy. All right, we've got what we want, and now we're going to go over to Canva. Now you can actually save PowerPoint as an image. You can save that PowerPoint slide as an image. It may not be a good enough resolution, and so I usually come over to Canva. Canva is great because they have a lot of book covers that are already made, and you can take these and you can change the color of the font, you can change the background image, you can do a lot of stuff with it. For example, that is just, the way that text is just really cool. And you could change that image and change the color of the text, and it's really neat. That's really nifty. And that's a frame that's built in, so any image you change this to is going to fit that frame. So there's all, oh, that's cool. So you can go down that rabbit hole, or you can do what I do and just make your own. Let's see. Let's look at this. This is something I started yesterday. I'm going to delete that and delete that. Now, I upload a lot of pictures, and so let's look at some of these pictures I've uploaded. And I'll tell you what, let's just do this one. I wasn't going to do that one, but, and you can make it fit. Obviously it cuts some of this off. I would just not worry about that. That'll cut things off. You can make this, you can adjust the transparency if you want this to be more transparent. If you want it to be dark, even darker than it already is, you can go over here to the background and you could make the background black. And then you have to do the upload all over again. And then adjust, like I said, adjust the transparency again to make it really dark. It's probably a little, see, that's really dark. I don't know that I would do that. But, and I love this little undo button because then you can just undo everything. So let's just say we're going to leave it like that. We're not going to worry about fading and all that. I already showed you how to do that. It's the same as PowerPoint. Okay? You could superimpose something over this. Let's superimpose this jail. He's in jail because he stalked you. And you can change the transparency of this. That doesn't really do anything. I wouldn't do that. That's what I tried to do with the other. Let's change this picture. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's make her the front cover. And then we'll superimpose the jail over her. This is such a big picture, you could just move this over so that the only part that shows is the jail part. Alright, so we'll take this, make it transparent. Okay, what happened with her? Is she on there? Yeah. Alright, we'll make her transparent. So you see that you've got, and again, that might not be your, stop that. That might not be your thing, but you can sort of see how it all looks. All right, I'm going to take her off. And just, I'm just going to use this. You just kind of have to play with it. All right, and I'm going to set the transparent, I'm going to set the transparency a little bit here. All right, and so we want to make a heading here. There have all kinds of cool headings. I don't ever use these because they never really fit a book cover. So we're going to call it Breaking Through and then I'm going to do a subheading, Prison Walls. Okay, that's a cheesy title, but you know, Breaking Through Prison Walls. Now obviously you want to make that bigger. You can just keep on making it bigger, or you can type it in. I'm going to stop there. And then this you can also make bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I said, I have a thing about liking them to be kind of symmetrical. So, Breaking Through Prison Walls. So, for this, I would probably use, what do they have? Helvetish. Okay, and then I'll do same thing here. And this I would make bold. You might want to, that's not really as, it's not as bold as I wanted, so we'll try something else. Headings. Let's see how that looks. That might be interesting, but I think it's a little bit not quite what we want. I'm just going to go with this because y'all don't want to see this for the rest of your afternoon. All right, breaking through prison. No, I just can't. That's too bad. I can't do that. I'm sorry. It can't happen. It takes a little while. Oh, I like that. Yes. Okay. Sorry. And since I'm using Barlow, I'm going to use this semi-condensed thin. And now they're not semi-condensed. Now they're the same, in the same family. Okay? And they don't have to be, but I'm just going to do that. Now, you can change the color. We might want to make this, let's see how this looks, maroon. Kind of a maroon. Needs to be a little brighter, a little brighter. All right. And again, and then there are some effects you can use. Here's shadow. New, let's see, what's the color of the shadow? I'd make the color of the shadow a darker, okay? You might not like that. Did I spell prison? Right? That doesn't look right. Okay. That's really sad. You got glow. Now, oh, that's kind of neat. I usually don't like glow, but that's all right. This, I would definitely do a shadow. Yeah. Breaking through prison walls. Very simple. Okay, and then you could put your name. I like to copy paste. Let's see. All right, it won't let me do that. All right. And then you put your name. Right here. I don't know who Joanne is, but we'll see. We'll make it the same as Barlow. And then, and there you go. You've got the cover, and I'm sorry that took so long. Feel free to fast forward through all that. Now you've got that. Now you can download it. This is what I would suggest doing. Double the size. Okay? And the reason I like to double the size of what I created is because I want it to have enough of the DPI, the resolution, all that kind of stuff. That's 2820 by 4500. That pixels. I mean, surely to goodness, that's going to satisfy people. And broken in time, you got the title there, and you will download. Here's how you put it in. Okay. If you're using Kindle, launch the cover creator. And then this is what I would do. Okay, unavailable? No! All right, hang on. Use cover creator, launch cover creator. There we go. I don't know how long this Zoom has already been, but sorry, it's so long. All right, got it. Don't show this. Choose your design. Okay. My image is going to be from my. Choose this design. So you got broken in time. It's already got the spine. I love KDP for that, for their cover stuff. The barcode area. Here's where you replace the picture. Get covers from your computer. Oh, let's just be cute. Okay. I mean, it's no fun if I can't gross somebody out. There we go. Okay, it's going to tell me to change that because it's not 300 DPI and this is only 280. Honestly, I probably wouldn't care because this is such a tiny picture, but you can make it, you can find one. Here's where you'll put your matter, and the more you type, the smaller the font gets. So if you don't want it to be auto fit, you can choose the size. Paste. So there's that. That's a little bit, and then we'll put it here too. And then we'll paste that. Okay, it's not quite, you know, so that's bigger because it's not as many words for that space. So there you've got your cover. If you want to add an image here, you can. I usually don't, but I do change the color. For some reason, the secondary color is the color that covers the most ground, so I would change the secondary color. They've got some color schemes here. If you want to try that, let's see. None of these seem to really work with my thing. Okay, the gray might work. Nah, that's ugly. There's no green in there. Okay, so I just choose a secondary color, and this one down here kind of looks like it might work because there's a lot of blue. That's a little bit too bright for me. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I like that blue right there. So now I've got my back cover, and it coordinates with the front. So there you've got your cover. Preview it. And that's what it will look like. You see there's a little bleed right here? That you usually won't see that unless it, I mean, if it's a hardback book, that accounts for the hardback. You can go back, and if you want to make the image, if you want to change the image, you can make it bigger. That makes it bigger all the way around. This is such a, this image is so, let's see. No, I guess your only option is to make it bigger all the way around. So you can make it bigger, and then if you don't want it to interfere with the spine, you can move it over. Okay, so now you've got it where there's not going to be that little bleed at the edge, and it's all good. So there is your cover. If you use Ingram Spark, okay, I was not actually sharing my screen before, so here we go. I cut out where I wasn't sharing my screen, and I talked and talked. This is where you may end up having to spend some money. It's worth it if you are planning on doing a lot of self-publishing. When you do Ingram Spark, if you have Adobe InDesign, which most regular old people don't have, you can request a cover template in Design. If you don't have Adobe InDesign, then you will request a PDF cover template. The problem is you need to be able to edit that template, and I'm not sure you can do that unless you have the pro version of Adobe. I have a pro version of Adobe that also includes Creative Cloud, which is some graphic editing software and some other things. And so it's $24 a month, I think, which, you know, seems like a lot, but I'm more likely to be able to spend $24 a month than I am to pay somebody a couple $100 in one lump to make a cover for me. I do better when I budget it out than when I have to suddenly hand somebody a bunch of money. That's why I can't use any of those publish your book things that want you to pay $3,000. All right, so I want to edit this PDF, and I don't understand why it's not edit. Okay, edit. Okay, here we go. These are 3 images. That was the cover image. This is the back image, and this is the spine. And I'm not going to move the spine. You see, this pink part, it's the safe area. Everything that's important needs to fit in the pink part, because anything that's not in the pink, anything that's in the blue, will not work. I mean, not necessarily show. It will be bleed. Okay? So you want to make sure you cover the pink and the blue. You can go over a little, and I did go over just a little, but as long as none of this black part is covered up, then you're good. All right, I'm going to even make that a little bigger because they got snippy with me last time. Here we go. All right, so there we go, and I'm going to make this a little bigger. They say as long as none of the black matter's covered up, it's fine. But if you make it too small and the little algorithm can see any teeny bit of blue or pink, then they're going to bump it back to you. So there's my cover. And then I save it. I'm not going to save this because I messed around with it and I want to keep the one that I actually made. You'll save it, and then there you've got your cover. And that's how you do Ingram Spark. Now you can do one large image to cover all the blue and pink, but I'm not quite there yet. So I just do it in pieces. And that way, if I choose to do KDP or some other thing, I've got the 3 pieces. So there you go. There's that. All right. And I think that's everything that I wanted to share. Start with PowerPoint. If you want to use the gradient font, the gradiating of the font where it kind of bleeds from one color to another like we did at the beginning, but you don't want to use PowerPoint to actually make the cover, you can save that text box. Let me do that now. You can save that text box. You see this little text box here? Let's say I like that. You can save that text box as a picture, and then I would call it dog book title or whatever. Save it as a PNG because that will mean it stays transparent, and save. And then when you go over to KDP, over to Canva, then you can put this image over the back image and just treat it like you're putting a bunch of images and layers on top of each other. And that way it works, and you've kept the gradient, which is not possible in Canva. So I really like to make my text stuff in PowerPoint so that I have more options and more control over what it looks like. So that's it. If you have any other questions, feel free to PM me, and if you really want one-on-one help, I'll have to think about that. That I might have to charge for, but I don't think I'm good enough to be charging. So yeah, I think you've got it. If I can do it, like I said, anybody can do it. So there you go, and I hope you have a great day.